What is going on? How's everybody doing this evening? Wow. Let's see here. Let me make sure that the stream is on and popping. How's everybody doing this evening? How's everybody doing this evening? All right. Stream is working. What in the world? Is everything going all right? It looks like it's public. Why is this not? All right, now we got some folks joining us. How's everybody doing? Had me worried there for a minute. Excuse me. There's the comments. Public on. Why am I not seeing any comments? There we go. Jack said, what's up, group? Jack, Betty, how you doing this evening? Goodness gracious. That was like a long 3 minutes. Usually, especially when I try and, like, I tried to post a notification that I would be going live ahead of time. How's everybody doing this evening? It is crazy windy outside right now. I'm hearing trash cans blowing away. Jack said, what's up? Jack and Betty, how you doing this evening? Jack, you said a few weeks ago you were getting like a high-speed internet installed. How's that going? How's that working out for you? Uncle Steve, how you doing this evening? Uncle Steve, tomorrow's video is I shucked some oysters at home, and my oldest son helped me shuck some oysters. So last week I got some oysters, and he was hanging out with his friends. So when we had oysters at home, he didn't get any when we had oysters on. I shucked the big amount. So he came home a little later, and then I shucked about a dozen oysters with him. So I filmed it, but he put some gator shake on one of the oysters, and it was hilarious because he put too much gator shake on one of the oysters. So you'll have to check out the video tomorrow, and it's just a small little piece, but oh my goodness, it was funny to me. It was funny to me. Uncle Steve, I saw you had a good old time at the Houston Stockyards. I was bummed yet again I couldn't make it. One of these days I'm gonna be able to get down there, and life will stop getting in the way, and I can actually do barbecue stuff, fun barbecue things. Jackson's got internet in the house, but they failed to hook up the garage. It's a metal pole bar with no Wi-Fi signal. Oh man. Shoot, you might have to do like I did and trench out there with some Ethernet. excuse me, trench out there from the house with some Ethernet cable and set up a Wi-Fi access point out in the garage. That's what I did, and improved my Wi-Fi access immensely. Immensely. uh, Grumpus, how you doing this evening? I didn't say hi. I'm like, I see Grumpus there, but I didn't say hi. Mm. You know your most Cam Newton jump right now. If a package waiting to be picked up, okay. I have not been past the snap. Thank you for the reminder. I actually have to go over there tomorrow and pay the bill. I had to. I was like, wait a minute. There was a reason why I hadn't been past the post office. That's why I have I have a bill I need to pay. Blind Man Cooking said, "What's up, everyone? How you doing this evening, Dave?" Hojo says, "Evening Dash. What's cooking?" Nothing. Nothing's cooking. Did you see the title there? Cancellations, last minute cancellations. Oh man. Grandpa says he's fixing up supper. Jack said it was already there for the last 8 years. They want me to dig a new one. Nope, the code. Yeah, buddy. I don't blame you, Jack. No way. No way. Excuse me. All right, so I'm not gonna belabor the point. We're not gonna be I'm gonna say out here. We're not gonna be on all that long tonight. I didn't sleep very well last night. I wasn't feeling very well. I was up in the middle of the night. Just wasn't feeling very well. Still not feeling 100%. Been a little under the weather the last couple of days actually. I feel like I have a cold that just downshifted, and I'm just not feeling great. Steven says, "Hey, yo, Dashing Peeps. What's up, man?" I feel like I'm taking an indigestion pill. And I'm not even going. I think I might go get a beer. I have a single beer in the refrigerator. Mm. Mm. So how's everybody doing? Steven, Grumpus, Uncle Steve, Jack, Hojo, Blind Man Cooking, Dave, what's going on? All right. Before I forget, let me go get the. I said you want to shuck those other oysters? You can if you want. Oh boy, that tastes good. All right. So, did you guys hear about the young lady who was doing a job for Tesla, and Tesla canceled on her last minute? Now, from what I understand, this woman was let's see, hold on, Tesla. Okay, so it was a bakery, and I wanted to make sure it was a bakery. So the whole thing is bakery gets a $2,000 for Tesla for canceled pot order. So the whole thing is this baker took an order for Tesla. Like they were making pies, and I can't remember. I guess this is. So I heard about this last week, and I was like, man, I've been there. But the whole thing is, the young lady was, she took an order, and she had done business with Tesla before, apparently. And I don't remember how much the order was for. Let's say it was for $3,000-$4,000. She took it in good faith and did not take a deposit, or did not get a deposit from Tesla. And then they canceled via like a text message not too long before she was supposed to deliver. Well, she had already brought in extra staff, paid extra people to come in. She purchased all of the materials and other things like that. And then Tesla just straight, and someone at Tesla, we're not going to say, oh, it was Elon specifically. Someone at Tesla just was like, oh, we're going to cancel that order without, any sort of due process or anything. What would you do if you had an order that somebody just straight canceled on you, like with no warning? What would you do? That, of course, didn't get a deposit. So this whole scenario sparked a huge debate about how this woman was doing so wrong in her business. Jack said he would cut the electric cord on the chargers. I don't know if that's a good idea, Jack. As much voltage as those things carry, voltage and amperage, no, sir. I know firsthand that those chargers carry a lot of juice, and I would not be wanting to cut a live wire on anything charger related. Just not going to be able to do it. But what would you do? Like, seriously, if someone placed the order and in good faith you started making their order, and then they canceled, they bailed, what would you do? And I had a similar situation. So I received a call last I guess it was last Friday. It was either Friday or Saturday. And a young lady called me, and she said, "Oh, I'm on your website right now, and I'm just drooling." And I'm like, "Okay, well, I'm sorry to tell you, I take orders in advance. I do catering." So she said, "Well, my son is getting ready to get engaged, and I would love to have some of your ribs for his engagement party." And I'm like, "Okay, cool, not a problem. Ribs are X amount of dollars per rack." And she said, "Oh, and then I'm looking at these chicken wings," and I said, "All right, well, fine. The chicken wings are X number of dollars per chicken wing." So she's like, "Okay, oh my goodness." She's like, "Ooh, ooh, 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 ooh." Excuse me, everything looks so good. It's fine. So I tell her, I said, "Well, when did you want to do this?" She said, "Well, my son is doing this, he's going to propose to his soon-to-be fiance on Tuesday. Can you cook, something for me for Tuesday?" And I said, "Oh, yeah, sure. It's Saturday. It's not a problem." So I let her know. I said, "I'm going to send you, I need your email address and your address. I'll send you an invoice. The invoice needs to be taken care of by Monday, by noon at the latest, so that I can make sure you're serious. And then I will go ahead and procure the food and start cooking." She's like, "Okay, not a problem. When I see the invoice, I'll take care of it." And she says, "I know." She's like, and then she told me something to the effect of, "I'll go ahead and take care of it because I am in business for myself, and I know, ain't nobody playing not get paid." So I'm like, yes, fantastic, right? Jack said, "I have tools." Remember, I did 7,600 volts in missile field, U.S. Air Force. Oh, well, sorry, sir. You go right ahead. You got bigger tools than I do. Rolling Smoke Barbecue says, "What's up, everybody?" Grumpus said his wife made lasagna tonight. Nice. The barber, I'm saying the butcher. The barber, Charles, what's up, man? He said, "What's up from Cali?" Steven says, "Can't work without a deposit unless you're my customer for a number of years. I may make an exception." Steven, I'm telling you, even then, you gotta, be careful, because I've had a customer. He was a good customer of mine, and he ordered beef ribs, and I mean, like, yo, the beef ribs aren't gonna break me, but beef ribs are, at the time, they might have been $60-$65. And I went out and purchased the beef ribs, and I cooked them for him. And then when I hit him up, I'm like, "Yo, where are you, dog?" It took me all day to get in touch with him. He ordered these ribs, and then basically he got high and he forgot. I'm like, "What?" That's what he told me. He was like, "Yo, I got." He's like, "I got so high." He's like, "I forgot I placed the order. I can't do anything today." But I cooked these ribs for you already, man. So I'm like, "Yo, all right, no worries." So I hung up, and I know, I have plenty of people that are like, "Hey, when you do this, when you do this, when you do this." So what I ended up doing was I called somebody else who was like, "Hey, man," and told him, I said, "Hey, I have some beef ribs that somebody flaked on me. Do you want the ribs? And I'll bring them to you with no delivery fee, and I'll even discount them to you, and I'll give them to you for $50 versus giving them, them charging, or me charging you $65 plus delivery." He's like, "Oh man, sure, come on, bring them, send it." So I was like, "All right, fine." So I made my money, and I didn't lose any money, but I didn't make as much money as I should have. But that was just one instance of, hey, a long-standing customer just straight flaked on me. So I was like, nope. Take a deposit. Mike said, "What's up, Dash? I attended the Beer, Bourbon, and Barbecue Festival here in Atlanta this past weekend. They're supposed to be in Maryland later this year. You can Google and check it out." So, Mike, I have been to one of those beer, bourbon, and barbecue festivals. My wife and I went to one last year, and we had a fantastic time. I got way too drunk. It was that bourbon was flowing. I got way too drunk. And the festival was happening. They have two dates. Um, One is coming at the end of March, I believe. It's like the it was not the last weekend in March. It's the second to last weekend in March. But I actually did not get tickets. I was like, I won't say I made a fool of myself, but I said I wasn't going to. I was like, I didn't purchase the tickets. Um, Dave said he learned this past Christmas, no order without payment first. Yeah. Steven said, "I know. That's why I say I may." I was thinking that. Listen, Steven, um, I'm gonna say don't even think it, but get your money. Mm. So I say all of this to say, and I had this woman who told me she wanted this. She wanted 2 racks of ribs and 20 wings for Tuesday. And I told her, like I said, "Hey, invoice needs to be paid by noon on Monday, so that I can do my shopping, and I'll start my cook, so that I can bring it to you at a decent time on Tuesday." So I had to work on Monday. Like, I don't say like I do every day, but I was leaving work, and I'm checking, and I'm like, "Oh, yo, I still haven't gotten the invoice, and it's about 3 o'clock. I haven't received the payment." So I sent her a text message, and I said, "Hey, her name is Deborah." I said, "Hey, Miss Deborah, I have yet to receive the invoice payment. Uh, do you want to, did you want to proceed with the ribs and the wings for tomorrow? Because I'm on my way to go do the shopping right now and start your cook. Please, let me know." So within about half an hour or so, she texts me back and says, "Oh, I talked to my son, and it's really not going to be as big of a deal as I thought it was going to be." He's, basically saying that they're going to be going somewhere, and he's going to propose to her, and it's going to be all over within 15 minutes. Versus the woman who placed the order, thought that it was going to be some sort of big production, and they were going to have, like, people over, and like a sit down type, the ability to have like a sit down, congratulations, welcome, clap for you type party with witnesses, and apparently that wasn't the case. So she apologized for basically wasting my time, and told me that she would keep me in mind for, for the future. So I'm like, that's all well and good, but yo, I mean, come on. When you go on the show, you cooking some barbecue on the big smoker. So the problem is, I can't cook on the big smoker unless I have a big cook. I haven't had any big cooks to cook on the big smoker. I mean, there's a cart in front of the horse type thing. And I'm gonna say which big smoker, but the biggest smoker I have has to warrant a cook big enough for me to cook on it. So lately I've been getting smaller events where it's just like, oh, I need, 2 or 3 racks of ribs or some wings or a brisket. So I haven't had the need to cook on the big smokers. The last thing that I did that I cooked on the big smokers was Thanksgiving, or the big smoker on Bessie was Thanksgiving. So, but what say ye about taking orders for folks and then them not placing deposits, or what experiences have you had? So Dave said he had a similar experience around Christmas. What happened? What happened with you, Dave? Mm-hmm. I'm going to go get some water in a second. But and then I too have had instances where people have ghosted me. People have, that the turkey breast incident. That lady, was somebody who I knew who was a business owner, and her uncle lives up the street from me. So she, hit me up and placed the order for some turkey breast. She's like, "Oh, I need you to smoke some turkey breast for me so I can, put them in my restaurant." And then she straight flaked on me. Straight ghosted me. I haven't heard from her since. Listen, Dash, I'm glad I caught you. I need 20 pounds of pork, but and 20 pounds of brisket for tomorrow. You think you can make it happen? I mean, Lou, where there's a will, there's a way. I would, I mean, if you want to say, I can make it happen because I get some pork shoulder from Walmart and some brisket from Walmart. I mean, it might not be the best of the best, but I would find something. If somebody called me at 9 o'clock and said I have an emergency, I need this food tomorrow, I'm gonna say, here's an invoice, get it paid within the next 3 minutes, and then I'm going shopping for you, and I will make it happen and have it delivered for you. There's a difference between somebody who is willing to work versus willing to talk about it. I'm willing to work. If somebody calls me up, a lot of times I find one of the differences between me and someone else is I answer the phone if someone calls. Now, I don't ask me about sending me an email because I'm horrible at checking my email. But you send me a text message, or if you call me, oh, it's on. Lucis, what's going on, Dash and Barbecue fam? How you doing this evening? Sister Toya says it sucks when people say they need something and you're counting on it and then they don't follow through. I'm glad you don't purchase the food beforehand. No, so and that's the thing, Toya. I unless I have a big event and I have enough to purchase something for the next cook because I'm getting a volume discount. So let's say I'm doing briskets and um let's say I have to do 3 briskets, or let's say I have to do 30 pounds of brisket. And by the time I purchase 70 pounds of brisket, which is more than what I need, I will have a volume discount and I'll probably have some brisket left over. With that being said, sometimes I do have the food ahead of time. So what ends up happening is I will thaw that food out and I'm like, hey, I have a brisket sitting in the refrigerator ready to be cooked because I was anticipating cooking for someone. But in those instances, I will just cook it and sell the food. Hey, I have some brisket. Anybody wants a brisket? I have plenty of people that are like brisket hounds. As soon as I just, they're like, don't even post it on Instagram. Don't even post it publicly. Just send me a text message and tell me, excuse me, tell me how much brisket you have, or tell me when what time you're delivering, and I'll pay the invoice. So yes. Charles said, "Did you see the brother that cooks the oxtails is blowing up the internet?" Yeah, I've seen the dude cooking oxtails. I mean, it's just oxtails, it's smoked oxtails. Oxtails are delicious. I mean, nothing new. I don't know, man. Sometimes things, maybe because I grew up eating oxtails, maybe because I cook oxtails myself. Oxtails are not like a big thing. Oxtails aren't like, ooh, this big taboo thing. I mean, I got nothing but love for the dude. I mean, but I'm not going to be fawning over oxtails. Let's put it that way. It's just smoked oxtails. Um, Almost anything smoked is delicious, and oxtails, because they are as fatty as they are fantastic. So smoking oxtails would be delicious. But I guess it's just a new and novel thing where people are, falling over themselves about it. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm just a little hard to please. Oh, Lou says he misread the topic and thought it was a last minute catering event. No. Lou said, I know you would, but I would appreciate it. I would cook it and be like, yo, I'm gonna meet you halfway. I'm not coming all the way to, Bumble, wherever, New Jersey. Blind man said I had an order for some of my baked goods that I sell for a friend, and they backed out. I had arrangements to have them delivered and everything. Yeah. Toya says I'm sitting across from a brisket hound now. Yeah, I can neither confirm nor deny. I know who you're talking about. So, and what's crazy is uh the lady who I was gonna get some extra ribs and put some extra ribs because I have a rib debt to pay. But she flaked on me. She backed out. So I'm like, oh nope, I can't cook those ribs. Yesterday. It was supposed to be yesterday. You know what is even crazier is I took the day off from work because I was doing some work in the garage. So I took the day off from work and I was like, oh man, I'm not gonna be running back and forth between the house and the garage trying to cook these ribs and get whatever I need done in the garage. I said I'm gonna take the day off, and then sure enough, I took the day off, and she was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry to waste your time." No, don't you worry. I got some things accomplished in the garage that I needed to take care of. You just helped me out. But yeah. Terry, what's up, man? From Matwood Barbecue. He says, "Hey, yo, Dash, how you doing this evening?" There's his brother Steven. Lou says, right when COVID hit, I had an order, spent good money on the food, and then canceled the party. It was the first weekend everything shut down. Yeah. Oh no, no, no. Tosh, don't be attacked. Don't be attacked. We're talking about you, like in a good way, not like about you in a bad way. Don't be attacked. Don't dare. Well, but so Lou, that is something I can understand. That was obviously, a situation beyond your control because I've had events that were canceled. But like I had an event that was canceled due to snow a few years ago, and it was for I don't say the kids, the school my kids went to at the time. They had a gala, and it was like in the winter, and it was supposed to snow, so they canceled the gala, and I'm like, yo, I'm stuck with all this food. So what do I do? I had a fire sale basically. I sold all of that food, made my money back 3 times, right, on that one, and then turned around a week or so later and rebought the food and sent it, not sent it, but then cooked it for the event. So it worked out. But that was a completely different circumstance than COVID, of course, because COVID was a completely different, different animal. I'm gonna get some water. I'll be right back. So I don't know if you can hear, I'm a little congested. If you don't mind me asking, what do you charge for a deposit? It depends. So if the event is over $1,000, I'll try to break things up, and I will say, I'll do a third. A third will earmark your date, right? And then 2 weeks prior to the event, or actually, yeah, 2 weeks prior to the event, 66% has to be paid, and then 7 days prior to the event, the invoice has to be paid in full. That is for the cost of events that are over $1,000. Now, anything under $1,000, typically, let's say $500 or so, I require a deposit of half, and that'll secure the date. And then the full balance needs to be paid 7 days prior to the event. And the whole thing is that has saved me from people that are just kicking the tires and don't really, are not really sure, and other things like that. Because, I mean, the whole deal is I need to make sure that people were serious. And, when I'm purchasing, let's say $300 to $500 worth of food, I'm not trying to be, on the hook for something. Now, I've also had events where it'd be something like I had an event for someone in the city, and when I say in the city, councilman or a office in the city, and actually he contacted me about doing a Juneteenth celebration for them this year, and I'm like, oh yeah, all well and good. I will, pretty much we can set up almost the same or similar invoice that I did last year. The only problem is it is now February, and that celebration is in June. That's 4 months from now. In 4 months, the cost of meat can, I mean, we've seen how fast the cost of meat can increase. So I'm going to send him a tentative invoice and say, hey, this is what we did last year. I can't give you an invoice for this year until we are, let's say, 30 days out. Just to make sure that, unfortunately, with the rising cost of meat, that I don't undercharge and lose money, because I've done that before too. Have you guys had any experiences with those type of situations where, I had a wedding this past year, and well, not a wedding, it was a welcome dinner is what I did, and I cooked food for them, and then I did hot dogs and hamburgers, and they were, on site, and they were ecstatic that I was able to cook for them. But when I charged them for the hot dogs and hamburgers, the cost of the hot dogs and hamburgers from the point when I sent them the invoice to when their party was, the hot dogs and hamburgers had gone up in price. Now, it wasn't like they doubled, but the margin for my profit had gone down because the cost of the meat had gone up. Oh, excuse me. So, Dave, hopefully that helps. I feel a little dehydrated. Just not having the best days. So, but Dave, does that make sense? Like I said, anything over $1,000, I'll require a third, and that third might be $350. Okay, but I try to round it up or down, or round it up usually to an even number. So let's say it's that $2,000, right? I'm like, all right, you know what? Let's make the deposit $750, and that will secure your date. And I tell people that, but what usually ends up happening is, more often than not, the businesses or the whoever the party is having the party, they will just pay the invoice in full. They're like, let me just go ahead and get this out of the way. Let me just go ahead and take care of this. And I'm like, okay, cool, you're serious. I've had people like, oh man, there are times when I'll have people, they're like, and I try, and of course, again, I'm trying to get into the habit of not doing invoices further out than let's say 45 days because of the cost of meat has gone up on me in times. But I'll have people who want stuff 6 months out and they'll pay the invoice right away. And I'm like, oh, wow. And the invoice or the price of meat has fluctuated. And especially in the last 2 years. Bernie's Blue Line Barbecue says always let future clients know that the price is subject to change within a percentage. When they sign the agreement, it states that as well. All right. I don't, I feel some type of way about trying to charge extra at the end. It's just, I won't say bad faith, but I mean, you can put that in there and you are definitely warranted for that. But sometimes, I just chalk that up to, chalk it up to the game or chalk it up to the cost of doing business. So there are definitely times where I'll take the hit, but I take the hit in a good way because I'll take the hit and I know there's future business coming. So, all right, well that's good. That you were able to resell the food. So Blind Man said he took care of a lot of baked goods for someone, and then they flaked on him, and he said he was lucky he could resell the food. So that's awesome, because I mean nothing worse than being stuck with something like stuck, especially if it was something like one off. So like when I did that cook for that lady and I did turkey breast, it was not something I did. It was not on my regular menu. And what I ended up doing was my aunt just so happened to be in town and she called me up and she says, hey, do you have anything laying around? And I said, oh, funny you should ask that. I happen to have some turkey. So I gave her a good majority of the turkey. And then I was able to sell some of it. But I wasn't built for selling the turkey because it wasn't where I wanted it to be at the moment. I've since done it a couple times, but still it's not like, ooh, this is my favorite thing to do. Um, it's crazy. I don't have any Uncle Steve's stickers on this. This is like a 40-ounce water container. I don't. I think all of the Uncle Steve stickers are bigger. Is there a Grumpus one on here? No Grumpus one on here either. There's a Grumpus one on this cup. There's Grumpus. And I pulled my gallon container out of retirement. Let's see, there it is. I pulled my gallon container out of retirement because I've been trying to drink a gallon of water a day, and I put a whole bunch of stickers on it. If I get up again, I'll show you guys. Kent, what up? Look at that. How you doing, Kent? Grandpa says I would be tempted to dedicate a freezer for paid jobs and buy the food at the time of payment. It secures profits better. That is a very good idea, Grumpus. But then again, sometimes I would have to have a plethora of space. I'm not even gonna lie, not everybody is gonna have the ability to have that much freezer space. Sister Toya said I started enforcing the third party cost, and so glad I did because it was taken away from my profit. I realized that those processing fees add up, and now charge for them too. Now that's one thing I want to say I'm horrible at, but I don't charge for um, a lot of the credit card processing fees and or the like PayPal. When I send a PayPal invoice, there's PayPal dings me and there's a processing fee through PayPal. So one of the things that I learned, I will say the hard way, was I had an event that I was doing for someone, and he made just the deposit. He made a deposit. I was supposed to be cooking for his daughter's graduation party, and everything was all set up. But then I had a death in the family, and I had to call him, and I said, "Hey, I'm so very sorry. Unfortunately, I had a death in the family. I have to, attend the funeral. It is on the same day. I'm not going to be able to, prepare your food and or, do your graduation. So I gave him a refund. Well, little did I know, because PayPal used to, if you had to give someone a refund, PayPal would refund that person 100%, including the fees. And they would refund or deduct the money from me, whatever the deposit was minus the fees. Well, now PayPal takes the full amount. I'm like, yo, where's my money? Why is my account short? Like, what's going on? They're like, oh, we no longer reimburse the fees. I'm like, that is some bull. So I have to be very careful when and or if I am refunding people, because those fees I'm now liable for that I wasn't before. And it's just one of those things that they just casually change the terms one day randomly, and it just so happened that I had an event, and I mean the event was probably for $1,500, $1,800, and the dude paid it 100%. Now, had he just made a deposit, um, I wouldn't have been out so much money. But because he paid the full amount, when the refund happened, I was out. Yes, I was out. I was out. Now that fee ended up being, let's say, $40, $50, but it was $40, $50 that I wasn't expecting incurring fees for. Um, I'm like, yo, I got other things going on, and there was like insult to injury, because it's like I had an event that I had to cancel the event. I had to drive to Philadelphia, because it's costing me money to drive to Philadelphia because I had to be with family. Then it's costing me money because the invoice got canceled, and then they beat me over the head for the fees. So I'm losing money, left and right, and I'm just like, damn, it just wasn't the best. So Blind Man says, you use PayPal for invoicing. I do. I like PayPal invoicing because I can use PayPal. The monies go directly into my PayPal account, and I have a PayPal debit card. That PayPal debit card, when and or if I use that PayPal debit card for purchases, I get 1% of the purchases back, which reduces my merchant fees. So the merchant fees are like 3% or something like that. Well, when I use the PayPal card to make purchases, I'm effectively reducing my merchant fees to like 2 and some change percent. So Kent must be new at using hashtags. You can't use apostrophes in hashtags. You would, though you did well with capitalizing the hashtag, so makes it easier to read. That is one of the I won't say tenets, but one of the things I try to push. But you can't use an apostrophe in a hashtag. The Your hashtag would be cut off at that I. It would just be hashtag I, and then everything else would be normal. Lucis, miss you, buddy. Yeah. Mm. Doctor's here. BRB. All right. Well, hopefully everything's all right. Some sort of charge a restocking fee. Why not charge two? So I have since changed my verbiage. That says that they will receive a 90% refund on the cancellation. But here's the thing: it was my fault that I had to cancel. I can't charge them, a restocking fee, because it was my own fault that I had to cancel. That was, I mean, I had to cancel the event. Now, in my invoices now, I do state that um, if a deposit is required, the deposit will secure your date. The full balance needs to be taken care of 7 days prior to your event. And if there isn't a cancellation, the cancellation has to happen within 72 hours of the event. And it needs to be communicated to me via, email, text message, or phone call, with a 90% refund, because that covers me with the fees that PayPal charges and any other, loss I may have incurred. I mean, usually I'm not buying every single thing, and 3 days out, I try to get my food, depending on how big of an event it is, I try to get the food, 3 to 4 days in advance. Chachi says, "Hey, yo, what up, Chachi? How you doing this evening?" Chachi, did you get to the rodeo over the past weekend or no? I am. Whew, I feel like I am dehydrated. Like I might need to go get some Gatorade or something. Oh, goodness gracious. Chachi says, "What's up, all? How you doing this evening, man?" I was telling everyone, Chachi, I'm talking about how there was a woman who received an order from Tesla going on the 14th. Okay. There was a woman who received an order from Tesla, and then Tesla ended up canceling the order, but they didn't make a deposit. So she was left holding the bag, literally. And she was a baker, I found out. They I didn't hear exactly what it was, but she was a baker and she baked pies. And she, brought in extra staff to make all these extra pies, and of course, extra costs for the fillings and everything like that. And then, of course, when the story broke, people felt bad for her and they purchased the pies, which is great. But not everybody is in a position to, you know, I won't say cry me a river on social media and the news. I'm sure for every one person who does get the traction and is, I won't say found out, but is highlighted to say, hey, this business did this other business dirty, or this company did this business dirty. Um, there's probably hundreds of instances where that is just not a thing. That just doesn't happen. And the small business owner has to eat those costs. They just have to take that loss. And what if that loss is so much? I mean, I'm sure there probably could be instances where that could put the small business out of business. So, I mean, I would hope that your business is doing better than that, but I mean, you never know. Grumpus says wife wanted me to make her ribs Sunday. When I stopped laughing, I told her grilled cheese was on the menu. Yeah, I saw Grumpus in a couple pictures from the weekend. Grumpus said 3 days of barbecue immersion was enough. You sure? Nah, there's never enough. Never enough. Grumpus, did you stay like around or with Uncle Steve, or did you just go home every night? Jimmy says, "Hello, Dash." Yes, Jimmy, I saw you. You were popped in, and I was going like this, but I saw you pop in and say hi to Lou or to Steven and to, you said hi to everybody but me. Oh man, I would say it wouldn't have been as big of a deal, but I had one beer and I'm drinking water because I'm not feeling 100%. So, but I mean, what would you guys? So, Jimmy, have you ever had an instance where you had a last minute cancellation or someone flaked on you? Grumba said he went home every night. I'm about to say, I don't know. How far away is your house from where the rodeo was, Grumpus? Dutch said it was a long weekend, Grumpus. I'm already looking forward to next year. Yeah, I wanted to go last weekend, but had a DJ. I had to DJ an event. All right. Chachi, he said, Chachi, where you going? He was talking about, so last weekend in Houston there was a big barbecue event, and I was asking if Chachi went, and he said he didn't go, but Kent, Uncle Steve, and Grumpus did attend. Um, and I saw a couple folks that I know from in this area, in the Baltimore area or Maryland area, that were down there. One guy is from Good Googly Moogly. I think that's what his name of his barbecue team slash his company is called. Good Googly Moogly Barbecue, and he was asked to help someone else who was down there, and they ended up getting a call for a finalist for brisket. But that was just it was someone that I'm like, oh wow, I didn't know he was gonna be down there. Uh, Jimmy says more than once I learned the hard way to get the money up front. Yeah, buddy. Laura, she says, hey Dash and all. Yes, Laura, how you doing this evening? And Laura, I thought of you. My wife sent me a Instagram reel. You know how we have conversations through Instagram reels nowadays. So she sent me an Instagram reel of a small town in northern, I think it's Ontario, called Concord. And in this small town of Concord, it's a small rural town, you can purchase a plot of land for $20. If it wasn't $10, it was like $20 or less. It was either $10 or $20. You could purchase this land in Concord, um, Ontario. And I'm like, what? Canada? Hmm. And then I looked into it, and it was, I think it's 7 hours north of Toronto. And I'm like, whoa, it's gonna be cold. It's cold up there. Mm. But I thought of you. Excuse me, and I'm like, I wonder where Laura is in conjunction to where this is. Chacha said there were 254 teams that competed. Nice. We have a major storm, flash freeze, and snow with 80-mile winds. Holy cow. Laura says she knows where that is. Nice. Nice. I was so it was just funny because I looked at it on the map and I'm like, all right, well, let me vet this. And one of the things I found kind of funny is the people who were like, there were people who had pros and cons against purchasing this land for $20. And the whole thing is they said this $20 plot is something that would cost you $50,000. And the reason being is the mayor is trying to increase the tax base and this, that, and the other, and yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. One of those deals. And there are people who are like, well, is it a good deal or not? And they're like, well, when you look at all of the things that they don't tell you about, and one of those things is you buy a plot that's probably still wooded, and you have to clear it, and you have to run plumbing, electricity, and sewage. So, even though it is I guess it is a municipality, it is, there's still things you have to do. And people are like, oh, what if you live off grid and yada yada blah blah blah. And they're like, well, there's costs associated with that too. So, but then when I talked to my wife about it, like the next day or the day after, she was like, no, 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 I wasn't serious or didn't really want and you to go down that rabbit hole because I spent about an hour between Reddit and looking at different things online. I'm trying to say like, well, is this something that maybe I should pursue? And she was like, oh no, it's too damn cold up there. And I was like, okay, good. We're on the same path because when I looked at the temperature, like the day I looked, it was minus 20. I'm like, no way. Laura says she's 4 hours from Toronto. 4 hours north or? So Laura, what city are you in? Mother, Laura says Mother Nature needs a slap. The Houston Rodeo Cook-Off has a 2-year waiting list to compete. Yeah. Dave from Blind Man Cookie says 7 hours north of Toronto. That's north. Yes. Laura says it would be a great getaway for summer dash. Yo, I thought about it, but it's 14 hours away from where I live right now. 14 hours now. Basically, it would be like for me driving to my mother-in-law's house. And I mean, I'm not opposed, but I'd much rather drive to Florida than I would to northern Canada, northern Ontario. Grumpus says cook-off at NRG is approximately 35 miles from my doorstep, about 1 hour give or take with traffic. Nice. Laura says it's going to be negative 28 by morning. Oh, Dash. Laura says she's in Ontario. Nice. Girl said it took an hour and a half from Uncle Steve's to my home. Nice. New YouTube channel from Canada. No, no. I enjoy watching Raspberry Rock, the Raspberry Rock Cabin, Russell and Alicia. Mm-mm. That is like the highlight of my off-grid experience, viewing pleasure, and I'll just be like, yo, you got that one. You got that. It is really nice in the summer, except for like, he has to go out in the summer when it's nice. He has to go out in a full on like safari net hood because the deer flies are like vicious to the point where they eat them alive. So they can't get anything done out in the summer because the deer flies are just out and vicious, like worse than mosquitoes, and they swarm. They're like, "Oh, there's something there," and they swarm, and it's to the point where he has an ATV that he uses to get from his property to like the main road where he parks his vehicle, and he'll have and hang something on the front of his ATV to get the fly's attention as he's no, I'm cool. And he lives on this lake, and this lake is huge, and it's to the point where like for exercise he walks around his property, right? And he's checking things out and he walks around his property. Well, in the winter it's so cold that the lake freezes over. He does laps on his lake. No, 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 no. Nope. Lots of bugs up there. Do you like bugs? Hell no, man. But the one good thing I will say this is, um, the bugs. At least the bugs here don't bother me. I could be sitting right next to my wife and my kids, and they will be getting eaten alive, and they don't like my blood type. They detect I'm a good person, and they don't eat me. Like I will be. It's funny. I could be in my garage working, and mosquitoes don't bug me. I will be like, if I have a friend that comes over or friends that come over and we're working in the garage on the car, or we're cooking something in the garage, and they will be getting eaten. Excuse me, they would be eaten alive to the point where I keep off in the garage for visitors. The bugs, they don't bother me like at all. So Dave says, "Good evening, Dash. I'm late, but I'm here." Yo, how did you feel about race week? That small tire car winning the whole kit and caboodle. What did you think, man? That freaking car was running what, 640s, 650s? Did a 6 4? I think it was 643, 644 quarter mile average on a small tire. Uh, Laura said he blocked me and Lisa for liking another channel, so I have no use for him. The twig on the front is for spiderwebs too. Oh yeah, well there's that. Because oh my goodness, now that is something that I have a problem with because where I am, the front of my house there is a gate, and I open the gate and I walk through the gate, and I'm telling you, once maybe twice a month during the summer I walk into a spider web. So to the point where I start having to walk with my hand in front of my face as I'm walking because I will walk through spider webs. Same thing walking up and down the driveway. Sometimes if I get too close to the trees on either side of the driveway or something like the vehicle that's parked in the driveway, same thing, I'll walk into a damn spider web, and they are like it's huge spider webs, and it's like they never come off. Oh man, Laura said Russell blocked you. Oh man, whoops. I carry a twig. I might have to just just start walking with a cane, and it can serve a dual purpose. I can hit somebody upside the head if I need to, or stop spider webs. I saw a video of there was a person and they were being chased, where they were chased, actively being chased by three pit bulls, and the person ran up onto a car, but they had a stick in their hand, And when I say that, this person mollywopped two of those three dogs, like mollywopped two of those three dogs and knocked two of them out. The other one, they must have hit it like hit it off and didn't hit it to the point where it knocked it out, but hit it, and that dog was like, was out. He was like, "Oh no, I ain't signed up for this." And the other two dogs, mollywopped. Oh, Quentin said I might get a Golf R instead of the EV. Still debating. I've always wanted a Golf, and this might be my last chance because if I go EV, I'm staying on the dark side. Dude, you better hurry up. From what I understand, this, if not this year, the next year might be the last year of the manual Golf R's. Um, at the dealership that's closest to me in Catonsville, I think it's Heritage, they had a Golf R on the floor, and it didn't seem to like it wasn't like the price wasn't unbearable. It might have been 45, 48 at the absolute most. Unless it was just a regular Golf, but I'm pretty sure it was a Golf R, and it actually had decent colors and like a decent colorway and everything. Because I was looking hard. I was in the dealership. I had to take I had to take the ID4 in for like a major software update, and I was hanging out in the dealership waiting. I think I would carry a wasp spray, 6 to 7 foot straight spray. Yeah, Quentin. Now, of course I know. Chachi says EVs. Yeah, all right, Chachi. I'm telling you, you get into an EV, and I'd let you. Everybody always wants to poo-poo on EVs until they drive them. They're so much fun to drive. I'm telling you, they're so much fun to drive. Let me get a Panamera. I'm not a Panamera, a Taycan. Bruh, bruh. Let me get a Taycan. Jack says, not to change the subject, but whatever happened to your wood guy? Betty is asking. You know what's crazy? My wife asked me about him the other day, and I said, I kind of think he might be gone. He might be dead because he was like 82, 85 the last time I saw him. And a few years ago, so this is prior to COVID, his wife passed away. And I used to see him, less and less. Like I used to see, his name was Bob. I used to see Bob driving in the neighborhood or in the neighborhood from time to time, and I genuinely would be concerned. I'm like, man, I haven't seen Bob in a while, and you could ask my kids when I didn't see him, I would verbally say, hey, I haven't seen Bob in a while. I wonder if he's doing okay, and I haven't seen Bob in quite some time. So I used to see his son. He had a son named Jimmy. I used to see Jimmy from time to time there's a Dunkin' Donuts up the street from my house before you get to the highway. And one or two times a time or two, I went in there and I'm like, hey, Jimmy, how's your dad doing? And he said, oh, he's not doing so good. He's like he's like our mom, and Jimmy had at least one sister, maybe another brother. So it might have been three of them. And he said, our mom passed away, and my dad hasn't been doing so well. And then he fell. And I'm like, oh man, well, dang. But that had to been 3, maybe 4 years ago. And then I saw Bob out and about, because Bob used to drive his, pickup truck. He had a Ford E, like a Ford F, probably 250, 350, that he drove and delivered wood in. But I used to see him all the time driving, and I haven't seen him in a very, very long time. But it was funny, where his wood shop, where they kept their stuff, is not too far from my house, and we drive past there all the time. And my wife asked me the other day, she's like, "Have you seen the wood guy? Have you seen Bob?" And I was like, "No, I haven't." So I'm thinking the worst, but I think I'm pretty sure that the company might not even be any longer, because one of the times, or a few of the times, I talked to Jimmy about the tree business. Jimmy was like, "I'm sick of the tree business. I want to get out of it. I really only stay in the tree business because of my dad." So I don't think he's doing that either. Chachi said, I love the smell of gas and emissions. Sure. Quint says, I think that might be my favorite besides the Rivian. Porsche does not does such a great job, and it keeps the speed even on a low state of charge. Dude, my car, when I have less than 10% state of charge, I can still accelerate, and it won't accelerate like to the same tune, but I can hold highway speeds up until 5%. Like, actually, at 5% is when things start to slow down, and I might be limited to like 70, 75 miles per hour versus me cruising at like 80 and some change, um, from 5 to, or from 100% to 5%. Yes, Jack, you have a fantastic memory. Jack and Betty, you guys are fantastic. Jack says we still remember him from the video of him and you splitting wood. Yes. Well, he didn't split the wood. He came and he delivered wood on the from his truck that was already split, and I had to stack it. Then there was a video later where I borrowed his log splitter, but I helped him fix the log splitter, and I did not get any. I helped him fix his log splitter. I did not get any video of that, but I welded his log splitter. Also, I would weld on his pickup truck bed because the dump body was older, or the dump bed was older than his pickup truck because he had it in previous pickup trucks, and that thing was, when I say was tattered, you saw in the video where he's using a split to knock the pins in, and like it was jerry rigged to say the least. Chachi is wrong. Chachi, don't be the first blue body to get a timeout now. 2B's Barbecue says, not to change the subject, how many pounds of brisket does it take to feed 100 people? So I have a simple equation out there, but the equation I usually use is I take the number of people that I have, and I divide that number in half, because I say that usually for most proteins it's going to take about a half a pound of protein per person. Now, with that half a pound of protein per person, I also add a 25% overage for those folks who are just greedy, or really like your brisket, whatever the case may be. So for 100 people, I would suggest no less than 70-ish pounds of cooked brisket. Now, with that being said, brisket, you have a net loss of about 40 to 45%. So if you need 70 pounds of brisket, you're going to need to purchase between 140 and 160 pounds of brisket, depending on how fatty those briskets are, and other things like that. But I would suggest you purchase no less than maybe 160 pounds of brisket, and you weigh it out and charge accordingly. So yeah. But again, I would be charging for cooked brisket. So that 100 people, I would easily have no less than 60 pounds of cooked brisket, and I think having more than 70 pounds of cooked brisket probably be pushing it, because obviously the more brisket you make, the more costs are going to be, or the costs are going to be higher, and unless your client, your customer has deep pockets, sometimes the cost, especially the cost of brisket. So I mean, just think about it. The cost of brisket could definitely scare some people away, especially when you start talking about 70 pounds of brisket. Whew. That's when you start telling people, hey, we can supplement brisket. We can do, and that usually for something like that, I might say, hey, we can do 3 different types of meat, and I would do like 30 pounds of pork, 30 pounds of brisket, 30 pounds of chicken, and that leaves some food for people who don't eat beef and people who don't eat pork. And typically people who don't eat beef or pork will eat chicken. But then there's people who don't eat that either. So, but I might be in a different area where people are, I don't say more progressive, but people have different dietary restrictions and needs. Laura, she's got a, oh, sorry. Don't call me out on it. Just let it be. Just don't you worry about a thing. Don't worry about it. But I did not drink. I've been doing pretty good recently. I have not done a very huge amount of energy drinks, though. I have still been drinking the caffeine infused drinks from Panera, but I didn't have any of that this morning. I had a coffee from Panera this morning, and I tried to take a nap this afternoon again because I wasn't feeling well. But and I'm not even drinking anything. Had I been drinking liquor, I'd have been like, "Ugh." No, because I play yawned. Now there was a real yawn. Jeez, I'm sorry. Sorry. Should I? I don't know how I can like. Maybe I'll just mute the camera for a second next time I have to yawn. Well, Laura, congratulations. You know, can we get a round of applause in the chat for Laura? She says, I've been awake since 3:30, then up at 4:30, not even yawning. Jeez. How much coffee have you had today, Laura? I've had exactly 1 cup, and that was the only caffeinated beverage I had. I'm going to have to start getting some energy drinks again. I just hadn't gotten any in a while. I'm like, I don't really need the energy drinks. I don't want the energy drinks. So, 2 cups. All right. Laura, I don't know. I did say that I didn't sleep very well last night. I was up a good portion of the night. This was not a good look. Just not feeling well. What's your Saturday looking like? Free all weekend, and it's supposed to be in the 60s with a little rain. Go hit up that barbecue joint. Oh, I feel like I got a cold that's just been lingering. Quitting, I'm not sure what I'm doing on Saturday. I feel like tape session number 2, we're gonna have something up his sleeve. Quentin says he's fishing on Sunday. Nice. Sorry, Laura. Sorry. It's I feel like a cold that I can't shake. I've had a cold ever since returning from Vegas for my birthday. Being sick sucks. But hi, Dash. Yes, Josh. How you doing? I had a cold. Oh. No, I won't say the older I get, but ever since having bronchitis a few years ago, every single time I have some sort of respiratory anything, it lingers to the point where I almost always end up having to go to the doctor and get some sort of antibiotic because I just have, I don't just get like a cold or a flu. I end up getting a upper respiratory infection almost always. So like the change of the weather, just I don't know. I had a cold, man. It's and it's just a lingering cough. Like it was worse. Excuse me. Sorry, Laura. Oh, Josh. Here, let me show you. I got on my cold weather Crocs because my feet are cold. It's warm, but again, I'm gonna chalk it up to my sickness and me not feeling well. Bronchitis, spelling on it might need a puffer for it. I don't want a puffer for it. and I'm gonna say I consistently get sick. So typically around Thanksgiving is when I get sick because I'm cooking in the cold, or whenever I have my first long cold cook. Guarantee a week or so later, I have a cough or a sniffle or I'm under the weather, and like right now, I have been I've been fighting with shivers. I feel like I'm like, oh, I can't have a damn fever. I can't have I say a temperature, but I've just been kind of dealing, just pushing along. But I definitely do not feel 100%. Ah, those got the fur inside. Yeah, buddy, you don't know nothing about the cold weather Crocs, do you, Josh? And they're semi waterproof too, because they're closed. I'm gonna say in the top completely, but just the top is breathable. But where you normally have the vents, like so where these holes are normally vents, they're closed off. And when I say these things are so freaking comfortable, they make your feet hot. If it's not cold. So I wouldn't wear these during the summer, but my goodness. And these are the pair. I have a matching pair of these with my wife, so we have the same colorway. But I can definitely feel the difference between when my foot is in the shoe right now and when my foot isn't in the shoe, because my foot is cold. Put some fur line, long john. I'll be hot. So, Laura, when I go outside and I'm cooking in the garage when it's cold, I do actually wear fleece lined pants, and I usually wear a hoodie and a jacket, but I'm still breathing in that cold air, and I think that is pretty much what does it, just breathing in the cold air. I also have a hat on my head. I don't normally wear gloves on my hands because I'm working, but if I'm out by the fire, I'm trying to sit by the fire sometimes to keep myself warm. But just breathing in that cold air for a sustained period of time. Mm. Josh says, "LOL, feet got hot. Those be getting sweaty inside." Yeah, but when it's cold out though, these Johns are a lifesaver. Man, man, in the fall when I'd be taste testing number two when he had soccer, out when it was chilly, man, my feet were never cold. Baseball, never cold, never cold. In the fall, baseball, and even now in the spring, he'll be on a baseball diamond soon, and it won't be warm enough yet again. So when I say, and I have a couple pairs of the warm weather Crocs, and then plenty of warm weather ones. So I figured you guys might appreciate this since you guys have heard me talk about the air pot and the water distiller and things like that. So actually, I was like, so we had some work done in our house. We had a kitchen floor redone. So my guy that comes in and he does some things around the house. He's done our bathrooms, and he's now done this kitchen floor. So of course, with everything having to be removed from the kitchen, my wife was like, "Well, let's use this opportunity to purge." Great. So I have a little thing where this thing right there, there's liquor in there, and it's just like a little wine rack. There's two shelves, and there's probably one, two, three, maybe six, eight shelves, and it's meant to put wine in, like a wine rack. We got that from Ikea randomly one day. It was just one of those, scratch and dent type items that was, I don't know, like a cabinetry that no one wanted. So we picked it up and brought it home, and hey, it's been there ever since. On the island in the kitchen, so that right there, the end of the island, is where a good or a better majority of the liquor resides. But we've outgrown that the end of the liquor bar, and we've outgrown the little bookcase thing, little wine shelf. So I had bottles sitting on top of it, sitting in front of it, and other things like that. So my wife went through and she's like, "Well, here are 3 bottles that we're not using, that you haven't drunk anything off of, and it was very little taken." So I said, "You know what? I redistilled it. I used that air pot, and I redistilled the 3 different, and I couldn't tell you what the 3 different. One of them was like a tamarind rum, one of them was like a pineapple rum, and the other was a tawny port or something like that. And when I say it is weird what the concoction, what it came from, but I just kind of let it run for a little while. I mean, I'm no professional or anything. It just started running, and I'm like, oh wait, this is actually working. And I took what I had already and I redistilled it, and I was like, wow, it worked. And I let it run for about a half an hour or so, and I was just like, all right, let me turn it off when it started tasting weird. Like I was tasting it every 10 minutes or so, and it started tasting weird. I'm like, all right, it's time to turn this off. And sure enough, I got liquor. I don't I don't know what it is, or what to call it, or what to do with it. But I got some liquor, so I was tickled pink. So you hear people talking about getting liquor from the store and then redistilling it. Like, that's a thing. The whooping paddle, yeah. So I'm gonna say 2 of them now, but I have this. This is the one you talked about, and I have another one. Again, pictures from my website. I have one. Those moose paddles I use on ulcers around the bulling. Yeah. Seems like the problem is you don't drink enough booze. You gotta stay ahead of it. Well, the problem is this, Grumpus. I don't drink enough store-bought booze anymore. My guy sends me, he hooks me up with enough drink that I mean, I'm not drinking every single night. So, but when I drink, I'll drink. But I'm not drinking every single night. So, I guess I need to drink more. Is that what you're saying? Uh, no Blackberry Crown tonight. The Blackberry Crown is deceased. We're gonna lay, that Blackberry Crown lasted 2 days. I got it on Friday. I guess it was done on Saturday. Shoot, that stuff was delicious. Delicious. It was fantastic. Yeah, it didn't last long at all. It didn't last at all. Yeah, I think it must have been Friday I got it, and then Saturday it was gone. Man, it was delicious. So good. Mm. I won't say I need more, but I do. I'm like, ah. Is that a 26er for the size of the bag? Um, so I don't know, like I don't say I don't speak. It was so this is the big bag. So this is the one with the handle on it, and then this was the smaller one. So this is like the regular, you know, size. And again, I have crown bags. They're in the little thing there. I'm still looking for the Blackberry crown. Well, Mickey. No. Oh, I haven't had Mickey's in a long time. Quentin, where are you looking? Because, I mean, I've seen it a couple of places. I'm straight burping. Like, ugh. Oh, goodness. Yeah, but the Blackberry Crown is going to be, it's a limited edition or limited release, kind of like how the Peach Crown was. I'll say back in the day, but a few years ago. Not the same once they changed the tops on the Mickeys. Quentin is not at the Virginia ABC yet. Man, you better bring your butt to Maryland. You know, it's weird down here. Yeah. You're in Alexandria, right? You might have to take a trip around the Beltway. Go to DC. I'm sure they got it. Look, Quentin, I just said the same thing. I'll have to check he said I'll have to check the stores, check the DC stores. Like I said, go to DC. Mm. It's funny. Said it almost at the same time. All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here quickly or soon. So, but I mean, the blackberry, it's good. It is sweet. So if you're looking for something that's tart or sour, it is definitely not that. It is sweet, but it is whiskey. So it is like whiskey with a hint of blackberry. And it's freaking delicious. And I drank it with lemonade. I drank it with the mango lemonade from Panera. I drank it straight, you know, on the rocks. And I had it with something else. Oh, with some raspberry tea from Panera. Yo, it was fantastic. Fantastic. So good. So good. I was done on Saturday night. Done. Laura says, good night, take care, bye for now, Dash and all. Enjoy the night. Just so sorry for yelling. Jack says, later, Dash and group. Hey, Jack, Betty, you guys have a good evening. Thank you so very much for hanging out and being one of the first folks here tonight. I really appreciate it. Have a good rest of the week, everyone. Dash, let me know if Saturday works. I'll be chilling all day. All right, I'll have to keep that in mind. All right, Quentin, I'm gonna tell you to remind me like on Thursday or Friday, because I'm probably gonna forget. Just cause I have a horrible memory. Anyway, thank you guys so very much for hanging out. Really do appreciate it. Oh, if you haven't already, please hit that thumbs up before you head out. I'd greatly appreciate it. So you guys have a great rest of the week, and you know, make great choices. Thank you guys again. Jimmy says, have a great week. Have a great rest of the week, guys. Later, Dash. Yes, indeed. You guys take great care. And thank you again for hanging out. I'll see you next time. Oh, tomorrow's video. Here, I'll give you guys the link. Sorry. I've been slacking lately on doing this. I've been forgetting because I haven't had a video ready a lot of times. So, but I have one ready, and I'm not even gonna, well, you may have kind of heard what it was, but I want to say I'm not gonna preface it. But you guys enjoy the video. Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks again. I'll see you next week. And I'm gone.